Tonight's session with Jared, it's the inner child healing. And I developed the inner child healing that I do specifically with Kuan Yin. A lot of the steps are born out of her key code activation from the Sophia code because she had exactly one human incarnation. And as a child, she went through immense horrific trauma and then found herself again, healed herself with the help of her faith and her twin flame, and became whole, regaining a level of compassion that helped heal my own wounds. And I want to just read a small passage from her key code activation in the Sophia code. Although radically dangerous to my unconscious defenses, the human touch felt electrifying. My entire being was starving for safe communication with another. I relented to my soul's hunger and feasted on grace. Hand in hand, we gently walked to the waterfall and began my first day of healing under the auspicious rainbow. In my devastating vulnerability, I was humbled beyond comprehension, for everything within me needed patience, care, attention, and repair. As I slowly learned how to relent and ask for help each day, a new strength within me grew. The man attended to me as a wounded animal, yet spoke to me as an equal. It was startling to be treated with such respect after all that had become of me at the hands of other men. The raging storms started to settle over a clear, still lake within my heart. In moments of clarity, my ears would often burn as I remembered my vicious reaction to his past kindness. Although I did not feel worthy of his unconditional love, I knew there was nowhere else to go. In successive stages of surrender, I let go to be guided by his care. I intuitively knew that his ever-present reflection was preparing me to one day clearly see myself again. There's so much that I learned through the Divine Feminine Ascendant Masters. I invite you to become acquainted with them in whatever way you feel comfortable. I found them through the Sophia Code. I have read the Sophia Code several times. It is a channeled book, not unlike the Emerald Tablets, but it's the frequency that connects to my being. And because of the immense healing I was able to achieve within myself after connecting with the Sophia Code and then directly connecting to the Ascendant Masters, Kuan Yin walked in to my being years ago, and she's been with me ever since. She is a key Ascendant Master that I work with to facilitate the healings and the clearings that I do. So this clearing, this healing is a lot of repeating. It gets very, very deep and it can become very emotional. So I don't know how much of it will be shown in the final edit, but I am grateful that Jared is still consenting to share this journey with the public. And if you want to explore inner child healing or how we get to inner child healing, please reach out to me through the contact form on sovereigncircle.live. Thank you. So as we begin the session for inner child healing, I've already cleared my space. I've cleared your space. You remain clear from the other day. Good job.
Thank you.
Um, your chakras are all open. Everything is unblocked. Everything looks good energetically. which opens you up to feeling. And that's exactly what we want for this because the inner child will only come forward to be healed when it feels safe to do so.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So tell me before we get started what you're thinking, feeling, any questions?
Uh, well, since the first session, it
Yeah.
there was a definite change. You can't put a finger on it, but just everything we talked about. I rewatched the recording, which helped a lot too, and in fact, I should watch it again. And there was a calm. It was like it more like a serenity, but also there was little bits of anxiety, but it wasn't like overwhelming like your physical anxiety. It was just kind of like I needed to fix something, or there was something going on, and you had an answer for that. You said it was a message, or something to tune
Yeah.
into. So
I
yeah.
said that was
So
the energy flowing. A lot of people interpret when they get open and then their energy actually starts to flow through their body. The only thing that they know in real life to relate it to is anxiety.
mm-hmm,
Or some people say they have like heart palpitations or
mm-hmm.
something like that. But it literally is an increase in energy flow. So,
Yeah, that makes sense.
it's the energy flowing through your body and you don't know what to do with it. So it gave you this
Mm-hmm.
feeling of, I need to go fix something. There's something I'm supposed to be doing.
Right,
And so it's
because it
not
wasn't a
really
panic.
anxiety. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just new. And so that's why I was like, okay, tap the brakes. It's not
Mm-hmm.
anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
This is just energy flowing. But
Mm-hmm.
specifically at that moment, you did have a message coming through.
Yeah, yeah, and there's been I feel like there was already some blockage being removed, so I can move forward. And in my mind, and because that's the whole goal, is to get like mature, right? And level up, and however you want to phrase it. But yeah, so I've definitely felt the change, and it's in a good way. And it's almost like getting used to a new shell,
Hmm.
or soul, or a new being of yourself. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to going forward, not knowing anything that's coming from here, so.
Yeah,
But
we have not really discussed
yeah.
anything other than your initial goal was to get here to inner
Mm-hmm.
child healing.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, there has to be something within you that's pushing you to think inner child. So, what
Mm-hmm.
if you can relate that? What is it?
Yeah, yeah, totally. So I've always had like this part of me that kind of runs rampant, and lately I've said, that's the inner child. Since I met you and you kind of describing these things, I said that makes sense. And I claim to feel I have the divine feminine and masculine, more under control, and because I feel more comfortable with that in those settings. And but the kid part of me is the one that it always gets me into trouble. And and I know it too. It's that feeling that comes up, and it's that little thing that says, "Ooh, this would be really funny to me," and but I don't know how everyone's gonna take it. I'm gonna do it, whether it's saying something, whether it's doing something, whatever it may be. And it was like really bad when I was uh, drinking heavier in my younger years. And not like bad, like dramatic. It was just I would get way more, reckless, and just tearing off like
Do
a
you
kid.
think the motivation to say the funny things are a distraction, or are you genuinely wanting to be funny?
I'm genuinely wanting to be funny because I've always loved comedy, and I jokes and everything, and that's like I always love to make people laugh. But sometimes it gets over the edge. And so that's part of it. I'm trying to think of other examples. Well, the other part of that was a big one that I tied to the inner child is my dreams. And by the way, since the clearing, my dreams have been better, more matured, I would say. And you'll know more after I explain it. But is the I would have dreams where I'm back with my parents divorced when I was 18, And since then, it kind of like I was on my own. I didn't really, I was like, go do, you guys have been miserable your whole life. We talked about that in the other episode. And it's like, do your thing. And then no one was watching me. And I was just 18. So I was just on a tear and doing whatever I want, and it was great at the time as I thought. But I have dreams now. I'm 40, just turned 46, and I keep having dreams about us as a family back together. And we're all kind of our ages now, but we're doing something together as a family. And everyone's getting along. There's no drama, there's no fights or anything, but it's still like I'm back in that mentality where I'm the kid instead of I'm like I should be grown up in my dreams and doing something other than being the child in the family. And back where we were, like it's like it stunted something. And I've always felt like my parents too, dad especially, always still look at us as those kids. And maybe that's normal and that's how you do, but he's always, and I've had other issues in growing up on like a lifestyle, like getting my shit together. That's a part of it. I think not getting married and having kids. I see that propel my friends in a lot of that area to mature, as to where I haven't, as where they get their business dialed down and they're responsible, they're locked down to a schedule, as to where I'm still kind of can do what I want. And I have to discipline myself, which I've had trouble doing. And I just kind of make it work and get by, but I could do a lot better. And I've always noticed that when I was in a relationship, a woman always got helped me get my shit together. I was always more on track. But my parents still, they kind of still treat us like that. It's still like, even at Christmas, sit down and around the tree and everything, which is great. I think they hold on to that part of life, like because it was good memories for them. But I just feel like everything should have progressed and we should be like, I'm not treated like the man I am today. And part of it is because my dad's not really in my life. Like he is. He's a good dude and everything, but he just doesn't know. And he's like sees me on my birthday and whatever, but he doesn't call. He doesn't he's just in his own life. That's all he knows. He doesn't he I don't know if he ever had a dad that did that to him. So everyone has to, it's like, come see us, come see us, come see us. He's never like, what's up, Jared? How's it going? So I've found other father figures along the way, which has been great, but it's still I think that that's a big part of this inner child thing too. That's somehow stunted it, and I feel like there's this mental part that needs to grow out of that child. uh yeah, so I could move forward, because I do want my own family and
Uh-huh.
my own, to grow in that area as well.
Okay, I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want you to do your best to speak from that inner child space. I'm not
Hmm.
asking 46-year-old Jared. I'm
Hmm.
asking 10-year-old Jared, 15-year-old Jared,
Okay, well, they're very
whatever
prevalent, so they're here too.
whatever age it relates to the question. I'm
Okay.
asking the child version that
Okay.
is still within you. When you were little, what did you have to become in order to feel safe, love, or accepted?
I was the first child. I was just this cute little ball right from the get go, and I got all the attention. I think that's why I'm an attention whore today. And and so I had no problem. I was always fawned over, so I always had and my parents always bought everything because, we got so excited when we got gifts. They spoiled us rotten. Um, just because they weren't so much. So they wanted, it's that thing too, where mom never had anything. So she wanted to give the kids everything. And so I can't think of ever looking for validation except for it being more over and above what was normal.
Okay. Um, so you're definitely the funny one
Thank
in the
you.
family.
Yeah, yeah. Always have been. Always have been.
What do you think your life would have looked like if you weren't that guy? If you weren't the funny kid?
I have no idea.
If you
Um,
removed comedy
mm-hmm.
and like that jokester
Mm-hmm.
persona,
Okay.
what's left?
Okay. I think I would be more because I always like engineering and architecture and like drawing. So I think I would be more heavier in that. I would be into
So that's definitely more analytical.
Yeah, yeah. I would be drawn because I was always doing stuff too, making things. And like I would do a garden or I would build a soapbox car or I would do something in my room, rearrange my room, and my room was always really cool. I had all this stuff and I'd always like everything neat. And so I think it would be something like that. Like I would zone into something, projects like that
Okay.
by myself too. I always like to be alone doing that.
And that was a choice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I would definitely choose to be alone.
Is there anything that you wanted to do as a child that your parents said, no, you're not allowed to do that for whatever reason?
Mm.
Like recurring thing, like you always wanted to do something and they never let you.
Um, it would be mom always kept us from like watching MTV, listening to music that had bad words in it, right? And stuff like that, which I understood where she was coming from, but I would always like listen to it when I could get away with it. There wasn't any big things because before I got to 18 and past, I was a really good kid too. Like all my friends, when they got in trouble, they were still allowed to hang out with me because my parents had, we were very sheltered. Everyone was good, and so I was never kind of rebellious wanting to go out and do anything really nefarious. But I
Okay.
would say it would be like those things, watching TV or listening to music. I wasn't able to.
And all throughout childhood, you felt safe.
Very, yeah.
Okay. Did you feel
Oh, a-
overprotected?
actually, no. Even there's actually a big one.
Okay.
When because my parents argued all the time, my whole life. It would
Okay.
be weird if my parents were affectionate to each other. They were
Okay.
always at odds. And so my dad was kind of very passive and just he went to work construction, did his thing, and my mom was always very difficult to get away with and or get along with, always finding a problem with everything, nagging him to death. And so, he would come home, have his beers, and pass out after a long day. And to her, it's like, you're never there for me. On her defense, too, he wasn't. He's not very emotionally deep. So she wasn't getting that from him. And uh, to the point is it would boil to fights every so often. And that would terrify me, absolutely terrify me from ever since I was born till they split when I was 18, really. And, we would be in our rooms and they would be absolutely yelling. Never physical. There was one time where one of them kicked a trash can, but my dad had this voice that was so like yelling. It would just, I would have nightmares about that. And sometimes even in the daytime, in just in life, I would hear this like deafening scream that it was just like I couldn't physically hear it, but I could, it was
It
like this
was like an echo
overwhelming,
of the argument.
yeah, it was this overwhelming thing that it just paralyzed me. And because I was always terrified that something bad was going to happen because of the yelling. And so
Now,
yeah,
your
that
mother,
was traumatic.
of course,
Yeah.
your mother
Well,
was
traumatic
super
as I could get.
critical.
Sure,
Your
there's much
mother was
more.
super hypercritical of your father. Was
Yeah.
she hypercritical of you?
No, no, she was always my best supporter.
So it didn't, her opinion or perspective of him did not bleed over into you.
I don't think so, but there is this underlying thing where she criticizes everyone at a certain point and nothing's she's just a negative person. So like
Okay.
she'll always be like well, are you sure you're going to make be able to do that, Jared? Like when I was a kid it was different. It was like, yeah, you could do anything, but now it's like and for a while it's like, are you sure you can do that? Are are you grown up enough yet? It's are you grown up enough yet to actually be doing this, Jared? And my dad too. And they're like always like, oh Jared, are you gonna, because I have fell on my face a lot of times because I didn't have once I was on my own I didn't have that I had to just go figure all this out for myself.
Okay.
And yeah, kind of lost track.
So do you still feel some of that younger version of you being terrified at any point in time? Like it could be any type of life situation now. Does it remind you of those moments where you were terrified when your parents were fighting?
Yeah, yeah, it's in my business when I have on my own doing got more work than I can handle because it was just I'm learning the been learning the business side for a long time. But so when my clients are upset, it brings kind of that back. I get that anxiety, and I'm like, I don't want to face them with something that I'm not to where I should be with the project, which is on the grand scheme of things is not a big deal, but to me, it's like a big deal because
Okay.
it's my
Okay.
whole life. Yeah.
And do you ever regret or wish that you could go back and say something to your parents about their fighting? Like the
No,
truth.
no,
Okay.
I've never thought of it. I've never thought of
Okay.
it
Okay.
ever until just now.
So the the ascendant master that I work with for inner child healing is Kuan Yin, and she's Eastern, and she had exactly one human life, and in that one human life, she was extremely traumatized and tortured, and then found her way through healing herself, and then had such immense compassion that she began to heal others. So we work through that, through a lot of what she guides to heal. And I do a lot of repetition of her mantra because it's creation tones that help open us up on a soul level. Because a lot of things are locked away. Okay, your ego doesn't want to talk about certain things. There's certain things your subconscious is not letting your conscious mind acutely be aware of.
Right.
That's totally normal. But that's why it shows up in dreams and ways that
Yes.
your conscious mind doesn't truly understand it.
Hmm.
So I'm just going to recite some stuff from her passage in the book. And then as we go through, you're going to recite some things with me. Okay,
Okay.
not yet.
Okay.
I dedicate myself to embodying the mantra and compassion that Green Tara taught Kuan Yin. Mani Padme Although I could not believe her at the time, she shared this mantra with me to prepare me to become a vehicle of compassion and grace for those suffering from the same disease of self-hatred that I had. So she inspired me to do the same thing that she did. With that, I have called in your dolphin because we all kind of have an animal guide. Your
Hmm.
dolphin is Polly, and Polly is going to help you with the water aspect of this. We use water to
How do you
heal.
spell Polly?
Paul, I-E,
Okay.
Paulie.
Okay. That's funny. It's a funny tie I'll tell you about later.
Okay. Um, because water has memory, but water also cleanses, and water has the power to transform, right? So
Hmm.
the water is going to take you through the memory and allow you to transform that memory into something that allows you to live free, and the inner child lives next to you instead of being hidden behind. Okay?
Hmm.
So now you're going to recite that text that I sent you.
Okay.
It should start with Madi Padme
Yes.
So you're just going to read through that whole section.
Okay. Om Mani Padme mantra given to Kuan Yin by Green Tara as a vehicle for creating a compassionate relationship with yourself. If it feels foreign or impossible to give yourself the karuna of unconditional love that you deserve, start here with the Kuan Yin's mantra. Kuan Yin is present with all who speak this prayer. The seated power with within Om Mani Padme will soften your heart in unexpected and miraculous ways as it did for me. It begins with Om, which is the sound of creation coming into form. Om clears self hatred, thoughts, and feelings, resonating your awareness to a higher frequency truth that you are a sovereign creator. Mani means the jewel, because you are the jewel. Every beautiful facet of your divine self already exists just as you are. Mani reconciles your awareness to unconditionally accept your divine nature in human form. Padme means the lotus and represents your body awakening as a vehicle for your higher self. Hum is the sound of compassion that clears all your suffering across all your lifetimes by honoring the totality of your true nature.
As you speak Kuan Yin's mantra of compassion, may the breath of life passing over the waters of your tongue open your heart to live a lifetime of unconditional divine love and compassion for yourself.
Okay, I did have that, but it was cut off right after that. So I didn't know if
That's
you
okay.
wanted. Okay.
That's okay. So as you go through this session, I'll do most of the talking. There's another part that you recite later, and I'll give to you.
Okay.
But as I speak, I want you can close your eyes or do whatever feels comfortable.
Okay.
Um, do you want music to listen to? Does that help you?
While you're speaking?
Yeah.
No, I can just listen, unless you recommend it, but I'm okay just hearing you speak.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Um, but at whatever I say, I want you to kind of feel into it, you know? So,
Okay. Well, yeah, let's play some music then.
okay, I'll send
Yeah.
you.
Okay. Do you want me to turn my mic off so it doesn't pick it up?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
All right. You can still hear me? Okay. I've called in your dolphin, Polly. I've called in Kuan Yin, and Yeshua's with you. Sophia is always with me, and Kuan Yin is a walk-in with me. She's always with me when I do healings of any kind. I ask permission from your higher self to allow your energy body to feel like you're being submerged into the healing waters that are full of aquamarine consciousness and love. Your entire body is laying face up. Everything's in the water but your face. Through your mind's eye, you see the full moon above you. That is what is lighting your way. It's nighttime. You're safe. You hear the sounds in the forest that are calming, and there is absolutely nothing to fear. Your body floats just with the water. You're going along just like a leaf on the stream, and you feel the moonlight just gently illuminating your body. And I ask the higher self of Talos to allow the inner child to now step forward. Your inner child has now stepped forward, and I invite that inner child to play in the moonlight, to run and climb the trees and play with crystals and chase fireflies all around, and allow that joy to permeate. There's a large willow tree, and it has a hole in the trunk, and some of the fireflies have gone into the trunk of the tree. And it's okay for you to follow them. I want you to follow the fireflies into the trunk of the tree and look in the center. There's a bright column of light from the moon. It's not dark. It's not scary. Inside, you see a bright white orb and many beautiful fireflies illuminating the space, and they're all around you. Now you're going to say the mantra 3 times. Mani Padme Mani Padme Mani Padme I confirm with the higher self of Talos that they choose to recognize the absolute innocence of their inner child. We acknowledge the wounds and the artifacts from the insanity of suffering. These wounds have zero to do with the purity and worthiness of this inner child's heart. There was nothing this little one could have done to stop what happened to them by the words and actions of others. Can you forgive yourself for choosing to be so young in that little body? Can you forgive yourself for becoming temporarily vulnerable to the insanity of others' sufferings? Does your inner child deserve to never suffer again, only to know unconditional love and acceptance? Your higher self is confirming to choose their sovereign creative power to free every wound from the past that is seen on the little inner child's body. On behalf of Talos's inner child, I call upon their higher self in command. Talos accepts that they hold the golden keys of their heaven on earth. Talos accepts that they create their reality by the power of their word. Talos's word is good, their heart is pure. By the loving power of their pure word, they call forth and declare all blessings of unconditional compassion for themselves now. By the power of Talos's name and the I am presence, Talos now forgives himself for every experience of suffering in their past. By the power of Talos's name and the I am presence, Talos now forgives himself for every unresolved, painful memory. By the power of Talos's I am presence, Talos now forgives himself for every moment of life lost in the amnesia of their unconscious wounds. By the power of Talos's I am presence, Talos now forgives himself for every addiction to unconsciously perpetuate further suffering. By the power of Talos's I am presence, Talos now forgives himself for every experience of others as a threat to his innocence. By the power of Talos's I am presence, Talos now forgives himself for withholding from unconditionally forgiving himself. By the power of Talos's I am presence, Talos now summons and receives the unconditional compassion that he deserves. By the power of Talos's I am presence, Talos now summons and receives the unconditional love that he deserves. By the power of Talos's I am presence, Talos now summons the cleansing waters of the Holy Spirit to baptize them from suffering of their past. By the power of Talos's I am presence, Talos now summons their higher self to atone for every wound. By the power of Talos's I am presence, Talos now summons the thousand hands and eyes of Sophia to bless his body, heart, and mind for the innocence to be experienced anew. By the power of Talos's I am presence, Talos now commands that these wounds, seen and unseen, conscious and unconscious, now be dissolved by the healing water and light of Talos's invincible innocence. By the power of Talos's I am presence, Talos now summons and welcomes the higher self to operate and the awareness with radiant self-compassion every day. Okay, I'm going to send you the next piece for you to say. You can unmute your mic.
Okay.
How are you feeling?
Good. Good.
Okay.
Yeah. I wish you could have heard the way I said okay. I was like, wow. I was like, okay.
So you speak that part and then you're going to do the mantra
Okay.
7 times.
The mantra is in bold, or oh, I the
The
mantra. I got you.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
the
So you
Om Mani Padme.
mhm.
Okay. I declare that my self-compassion creates a new relationship with my life that is filled with the blessings of happiness, love, joy, peace, and prosperity that I deserve. Om Mani Padme. 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 Om Mani Padme.
Thank you. In this moment, I ordain Talos's adult awareness to the ministry of self-love. I declare that from this day forward, a waterfall of self-compassion will flow forever from his heart to his awareness. I consecrate this space and the light within to be filled with the recognition of his innocence. As the pure innocence of your divinity, I am always with you. Inside every present moment baptizes your awareness and consciousness of communication of self-love. Now, Kuan Yin is going to work on your energy body and go a little deeper to remove very specific wounds that she can access. Okay? In
Okay.
doing that, you can just relax however you want, listen to the music, and I'm going to release more trapped emotions that came out during that first part of the session.
Okay.
Okay? From his heart, release the emotions connected to abandonment, betrayal, forlorn, lost, love unreceived, effort unreceived, heartache, insecurity, overjoy, and vulnerability. From his spleen and stomach, release anxiety, despair, disgust, nervousness, worry, failure, helplessness, lack of control, and low self esteem. From lungs and colon, release crying, discouragement, rejection, sadness, sorrow, confusion, defensiveness, grief, self abuse, and stubbornness. From the liver and gallbladder, we release anger, bitterness, guilt, hatred, resentment, depression, frustration, indecisiveness, panic, and taken for granted. From the kidneys and bladder, release blame, dread, fear, horror, peeved, conflict, creative insecurity, terror, unsupported, and wishy washy feelings. From the glands and sex organs, release humiliation, jealousy, longing, lust, overwhelm, pride, shame, shock, unworthy, and worthlessness. How you doing?
Good.
She's not finished yet. She's still working on you. Okay, take some of those cleansing breaths that I taught you the other day. Inhale 4 seconds, hold 6 seconds, and then let out 8 seconds. Talos accepts that they hold the golden keys to their heaven on earth. Talos accepts that they are creating their own reality by the power of Talos's words. Talos's word is good and his heart is pure. By the loving name of Talos's pure word, and they're willing to receive the unconditional karuna compassion of their higher self now and forevermore. This inner child healing is going to close. It is done. It is done. It is done by the power of three, a perfect trinity. It is done. Now we talk.
All right.
How do you feel?
I feel great. I feel really good. Very calm. I feel like almost like it was extracted and it's next to me now. That's exactly how it feels.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of what we carry with us as children that is not for us, but you were there, like the arguments
Yeah. Yeah.
and you've said it many times, but I don't know if you realize your mother suffering makes it seem like she's never happy and she's always negative, but
Hmm.
that's not anything that you're in control of.
Right.
Um, but it's hard for a child, it's hard for anybody to be around that type of energy and not kind of feel responsible like, am I making it worse? Can I help
Hmm.
her?
Yeah.
Maybe if I keep everything clean and everything spotless and I do this and I do that, then, then she'll be happy for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And then that develops a pattern over time. So that's the kind of like introspection of things that may rise now. And when it does, you're going to LFG it and let it go. So you're going
Yeah.
to send love to yourself and her or him or whoever it is, all parties involved.
Hmm.
And you're going to forgive yourself for feeling however you feel. and all parties involved. And you're going to give gratitude for the lesson,
Mm-hmm.
for receiving it, and then let it go. And will you let it go successfully the first time? Maybe. Will it take you a few attempts? Probably. And
Mm-hmm.
this tends to heal in layers. So this first layer is gone. And what that does, it gives you the space to allow for more to rise. So you might be out at the park grounding and something comes into your memory that we did not discuss right now.
Mm-hmm.
LFG it. That's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what I anticipate happening.
Yeah, yeah, and I could already think of things that do that I kind of because there's so many, there's it's
Yeah,
impossible to
of
get it all
course.
out right now. But
Of
I
course.
have things that yeah, I battle with it. I've been trying to, but now kind of going through this, it's a little more clarity on yeah, it's
There's
confirmation.
nothing, and this is the key thing that I think a lot of people, they may know it, but they don't realize what they're doing. There's nothing that's going to come from trying to relive something that's already taken place. You
Mm-hmm.
can't undo it. You
Mm-hmm.
can't truly change what has already happened.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you can't truly see into the future. You can't say today that in 12 months I'm going to have such and such because there's a lot of moving parts between today and 12 months from now.
Mm-hmm.
But the very best thing you can do is to be the absolute best you can be in this now moment.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that you live in the now. So
Yeah.
any of the memories from the past, what's a better use of your energy? To relive it, rehash it, over analyze it? No. The best
Yeah.
use of your energy is to say, it happened, accept it, recognize it for whatever it is, no matter how horrific or how funny, like whatever the scale is.
Mm-hmm.
You recognize it and you still LFG it and let it go.
Yeah. And it
Because,
sounds very simple, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, well of course you do that," but unless you have it creeping in all the time to where it overtakes you, you don't realize how important that advice is. You really have to tell yourself that on a,
yeah,
constant basis.
yeah. Because the old habit is to rehash things
Mm-hmm.
and to kind of go back to dwelling on how it made you feel, the sadness, the depression, the anxiety, the whatever it was, which
Because you have,
just transports you back to the pain. It rips
mm-hmm,
the band-aid off
mm-hmm,
and you have a new wound.
you have all those things you want to say now, but like you
Yeah.
said, you can't go back and do that.
Yeah. There is
Yeah.
no point in trying to recreate that.
Mm-hmm.
That is a waste. It's actually a negative loop of energy that a lot of people get stuck on.
Yeah.
So I
100%.
completely advise just be in the now, even if it means that 50 times a day you're forgiven the same thing.
Yeah.
Each time you consciously do it,
Yeah.
you're forgiving more of the wound and it's getting less and less and less.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
So it's like how a wound heals. It doesn't heal in a day. It
Yeah.
heals over time
Yeah.
and it comes in from the borders and then eventually it's gone.
I could show you right now my burn is halfway healed. But yeah, it was really bad and it's slowly getting, yeah,
Yes, because
perfect
you didn't do it
analogy.
one time. You have to keep going at it with the intention that this is going to heal, this is going to
Yeah.
get better. Next day it's going to be even better. It's the same thing with the wounds in our soul.
Yeah.
So when I
Each day you're putting
say
that aloe on it. Each time
yes,
you're forgiving. Yeah.
yes. So when I tell people I live in the now, they look at me a little flippant, like, okay, yeah, whatever. But I
Yeah.
live in the now, which is always, right? My
Hmm.
now and then the next now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm not watching a clock. I don't even know what fucking day it is most of the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
That I live in the now
We're in
because
now
I'm not
now.
worried about the past, nor am I trying to micromanage the future. The
Yeah.
truth of the matter is that if you're doing what's in your best interest right now, then your best future comes to you.
Hmm.
You are
Yeah.
manifesting it that way.
Yeah. And you're still holding yourself back. You're holding back all that now, just thinking about the past in those ways
Yes.
that aren't going to change anything.
Yes. So there's a ton of energy that gets put into why didn't I do that differently? Why didn't I speak up? Why did I let that go on for so long? That's where the grace and the forgiveness comes from. Forgive yourself, send yourself love. You cannot go back and change it, so stop. Just
Mm-hmm.
get off the hamster wheel of that.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the other aspect of, oh, well, I'm gonna plan out everything of my entire existence for the next 12 months to the nth degree. How is that going to work? How is that going to work actually? Because between now and 12 months from now, there's probably 1,000 different things that are going to move out of place from right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to reanalyze your plan. And so then that is another negative loop because it's always
Mm-hmm.
changing. So the only thing that makes sense to me, in my humble opinion, is that you work on right now. And my right now is about 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. I don't commit to anything beyond that.
I feel that big time.
That takes a huge weight off of our shoulders. You know, yes, you have jobs that come in, you're going to give an estimate, you're going to give a whatever. But I think the best thing to do is to be truthful, lovingly truthful. I think I can get this done in this amount of time, depending on blah, 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 blah. That is going to expand that timetable out.
Mm-hmm.
And honest communication is best, no matter
Yes.
what.
No matter what. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because people
Everything
can
in truth and
respect the
love.
truth from you, but they can't respect a lie.
Yeah. And most
So,
of the time they can tell, like when we were talking about the relationships, everyone can see you're not fooling anybody in a miserable relationship.
right,
They can tell the
right,
same when you're miserable or you're lying.
right.
But nobody talks about it. They just, everyone goes on about their business. And then it's funny when you do realize that, oh, hey, they knew I had this problem and never said anything. You almost feel betrayed by them for not saying
Yes,
something.
yes.
Yeah.
And I had that happen in my life a couple of key times. And I was very, in my ego about it. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you ever say anything?
Mm-hmm.
And they quickly pointed out that I would not have listened. And
Yes.
that
Yes.
also is true.
That's
So,
because I've been on the both sides of the fence as well, and I that's the same thing for me. Yep. It's like, well, what are you gonna do?
so that is a perfect scenario where I had to forgive myself and I forgave them because
Mm-hmm.
neither one of us were approaching that situation in our spiritual, mature way.
Mm-hmm.
It both scenarios caused harm. So we
Mm-hmm.
both had apologies to make, but we both deserved love and we both deserved gratitude for at least having the discussion. And that's how
Mm-hmm.
I approach it. And
Yep.
forgiveness is never about the other party or the other people or the event. It's for you. And do not subscribe to I'll forgive, but I'll never forget. Because if you play that game, then the chain stays around your neck. The weight remains there. You never truly let it go because you're only doing half of the work.
Mm-hmm.
So I fully anticipate that things that are actually really deeper as a core wound for you that you may not even realize in this moment, but as the healing progresses, it'll come up and then it'll come up again and you'll LFG it and you'll let it go. And in good faith, you are. But then it's going to come up again because that's the layers of the woundings. So if
Mm-hmm.
something occurred when you were 7 and now you're 46, there are many, many layers to that.
Mm-hmm.
So every time that you in the back of your mind wanted the phone to ring and it be your dad saying, "Hey, I'm in the area. I'm gonna pop in for a visit,"
Mm-hmm.
that is a layer.
Mm-hmm.
So forgiving that overarching method that he had of like not being present, it's going to take a while to fully and completely let that go because it's been so long in in the system, in the
Mm-hmm.
energy. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
happen once,
Mm-hmm.
right? It happened
Oh yeah.
over and over and over again.
Yeah. To this
So,
day. And no, that's great because it's given me the tools to deal with what I already, it comes up all the time.
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
many other things too, even with my brother and other things. And now I see the tools that it takes that you can work through it now.
Yeah. And you don't have to have any kind of like special anything. You just have the intention to truly send love to yourself, love to them, forgiveness to yourself, fully and completely forgiveness to them, gratitude, and then truly have the intention of letting it go. Then whenever it surfaces again, do not beat yourself up about it. It just means, okay, this is another layer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what else am I? Is it
Mm-hmm.
more of the same wound or is this a different wound? Like, kind of lean into it. And you may find that it hurts again today, tomorrow, like it did when you were younger,
Yeah.
but it's because it needs to. We have to feel it in order to heal it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to lean into that feeling, whether if it's abandonment or heartache or disappointment or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Lean into it just long enough that it doesn't feel like a knife in your back anymore. Like it doesn't feel sharp anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And you take a big deep breath and then you do your LFG. Because if you're avoiding the feeling, it's going to keep coming back. That's a part of the energy friction that we have to feel.
Right. Yes. The inner universe will double down on the signs. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're just
Yeah.
like, oh, that hurts, I'm not going to go there. Let me just do a little quick LFG and run the other direction.
Yeah.
It's just going to be waiting for you when you get back home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So authenticity, so truth and love for yourself, but be authentic. And each time you do an LFG, it gets better and better. And so you know your progress because one day you'll be at the park and it won't surface,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
you'll be wherever and it just won't happen. And you'll go,
Mm-hmm.
dang, that feels good. And
Yeah.
you just let
Yeah.
it be at that point.
Yeah. And I have enough faith to know that that day will come.
It
I
will.
already did, but now with this extra tooling and clearing, it's like I really have faith that it's there, and I'm
And
like
if it's
almost excited
anything,
to keep working through it.
if it's anything new, right? So now you also have the tools to deal with that. So if a new dis-
Exactly.
disagreement or disappointment or anything that, happens with the fam or
Yeah.
whomever, this is the
Yeah.
same process
Right.
that allows you, instead of getting triggered, pissed, saying things you don't mean, like that whole cycle,
Mm-hmm.
pause, realize that it's more about them than you, and then do the LFG as soon as you feel like you can. Now, when you're upset, when I'm upset, I won't speak for you. When I'm upset, it's going to take me a minute to get to the place where I can forgive. And I always have to forgive before I send love because I'm not sending love to somebody I have resentment against, right? That's not authentic. So you have to navigate that, I think, with some spiritual awareness and honesty to the best of your ability. So as soon as you feel like you can do the LFG, do it. It's not going to go anywhere. And
Mm-hmm.
then when you let that go, you have taken the first step to address something that just happened instead of waiting 30 years or whatever, you know?
Right.
And so that's the hope, is that people can address these woundings and pain and heartache now and not let it live in their body for decades and cause other, um, systemic relationship problems or lack of confidence or whatever the case may be, because it manifests in people in different ways.
Oh, you can just, I mean, you have more compassion for everybody, um,
Yes.
knowing all this stuff. And I can't imagine going through like molestations or uh, real traumatic stuff. Mine was very,
Right.
very mild, but you can see how much it has affected my life. And so, you can really,
Yeah.
like have compassion for these people who are you just write off as assholes or whatever when they really
Yeah.
had some shit happen to them.
Yeah. When I went through, I've read the Sophia Code several times, but I always will like feel a pull to go to a specific Ascendant Master's key code in there. And I was struggling some years ago. to forgive people that harm children. I really felt like that was just something I could not forgive. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't reconcile forgiving that. And I kept waking up feeling like I needed to read her key code again and read her passages again. And so her in her earthly life, she was in an Eastern culture village, and it was just her and her parents. And when she was 8, the village got raided by Mongol raiders, and all the men were killed, and the children were either raped and taken as slaves or raped and killed, and she was raped and left for dead
Man.
and beat very, very bad. And her twin flame came in spirit form to try to help her. And she saw like a flash of light in the mountains, and that he got her attention and telepathically said, "Get up and run now." They were setting the village on fire. And the first time she tried to get up and run, she passed out. And then she woke up and he said, "Now, you have to run now." And she got up and ran into the mountains. And they embarked on this 20-year, like, secluded mountain healing. And she didn't talk for the first 8 years. She did not trust him. He couldn't come within 100 feet of her. All he did was provide food and clothing whenever he was guided to do that.
Wow. And being the one that got her out too. So that's some serious trauma.
Serious trauma. But at the end of the day, when she finally loved herself, realized that she was worthy of love because he was showing her unconditional love in spite of the fact that she was horrible to him. She'd throw rocks at him. She never wanted to see another human being again because of the way she thought she looked to other people. Then he reminded her that she was worthy of compassion and healing as well and kindness. So I go through this reading it again, and I'm having this issue forgiving people that harm children. And she says in there, suffering souls exact more suffering because that's all that they know.
Yeah.
And who on the planet deserves love more than someone who's never felt it?
Mm-hmm.
And that shifted my perspective. And it's not like, romantic love. This is like, Yeshua, I love
Yeah.
humanity enough to give compassion, even though I don't like what you did.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I love your spirit and your soul enough to forgive you so that you can have the opportunity to be better. So we're forgiving for us, not them.
Mm-hmm.
And that shifted it for me. But a lot of children have that same, mentality where they feel like they can't forgive because they don't feel worthy of forgiveness themselves because of something
Mm-hmm.
that happened to them when they were little.
Mm-hmm.
So I say all of that just to remind you that we're all worthy of compassion and love and forgiveness. And all of that is wrapped into that divine spark love that comes from Creator, in my opinion. And so
Absolutely.
as things come up, things may come up that, like I said, you're not consciously aware, and it may really hit you. It may just totally knock you back, and you just have methods now. Feel it, cry, scream, kick, be mad, do whatever you want to do. But as soon as you feel like you can embark on an LFG, then try that. And
Mm-hmm.
if it's not feeling like you can do it, then stop and do it next time you feel like you can. There is no
Mm-hmm.
written rule about how fast you do this. It's just important that you have clear intentions of wanting to let it go and you do your best to heal it so it can be let go.
Mm-hmm. So that the story of Sophia, where did you read that? How did you
So,
learn about that?
that was the story of Kuan Yin, but it's in the Sophia Code. Let me
Oh,
see that.
Sophia Code. Okay.
Sophia Code.
Nice.
This is I think it's from 2016. Anyway, I didn't even know about Sophia until when I read this the first time.
The only girl I ever was engaged to is named Sophia.
Wink, wink. Oh, what were you
Yeah.
going to say about Polly?
Yeah. Oh, so Polly, uh, when I got banned from Facebook, uh, Jared Bassel got banned from Facebook permanently, where I couldn't even put my name in anymore. It and So I had to come up with an alter ego, and so I created a woman named Polly Tickle for political, Polly Tickle, and yeah, so that was Polly was my alter ego on Facebook. And I forgot her password now, and I can't get in because I started it and then I lost the book I wrote her password in. And once I got a new phone, I couldn't no longer use my Face ID, and I lost the account. So I got to start a Polly 2 because it was pretty good. It started to get pretty big. It's hilarious. And all these guys had no idea it's Jared behind it. These simps.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah. So
Oh,
that's
Polly.
your
So
dolphin's name.
that's awesome. I'm a big Polly fan.
Oh, that is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, this will probably take a good 7 days of integration.
Okay.
So we won't plan on revisiting again until next week. And then we'll do life path and soul decode at that
Okay.
point.
Okay. Awesome. Looking forward to it. And I'm really looking forward to sitting on this too, because I feel like, I got a grip on it, and it was a good feeling going through,
Good.
leading up to this. I see why you do it in steps, completely, and it's hard to explain and put a real finger on until you go through it. It's hard to describe. And like I said, I think it's like we're just trying to grab the big ones as we go through, but there's so much more, but you can apply this to all of that,
Yes. So
so
you're going to build today on what you learned a few days ago and what we've learned together, just being in communication. And it all starts to transform how you react in your day to day.
yes,
And that's a conversation I had with Creator and Sophia one time about, is it more important how we choose to act or how we choose to react?
good question.
Because there's a lot of people that defend bad behavior because someone else did something. Someone did something and then they defended their reaction because, whatever. And it came up because I was really embodying how we do not control other people. So we only control ourselves. So it can't be about someone else's action toward me. It has to be about my reaction or what I chose to do to someone else. Like,
Hmm.
let's just, be responsible about what we're doing. And that's where that pause comes in. I am not perfect. I do not pretend to be perfect. I make mistakes and I immediately ask for forgiveness.
Hmm.
I'm a really bad eye roller and I will roll my eyes to a person,
Yeah,
place, or thing.
yeah,
And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah. That's kind of like,
I'm
yeah,
not
me
being
too.
judgmental. I promise I'm not being judgmental. Like that,
Yeah.
that was like one of my crosses to bear as an adult is I've been super judgmental. And
Uh-huh.
like the first key that I'm judging is my eye rolls.
Hmm.
So that's like a thing that I try to catch and just self correct as soon as possible.
Uh-huh.
But the reaction was definitely, it's your reaction that matters more because we all have a choice on how
Yes.
we respond to things. And
Hmm.
there is no rule that says you have to respond.
Yeah, that's exactly like with my comedic thing. It's most of it is reactive. And it's like I'm reacting with a joke or a comment or something that's just a little too much, a little too far. And so it's similar. Yours is more judgmental, like you're like, oh, you guys are this, and I'm like, just taking it too far. But it's the same type of thing. It's like we wish we wouldn't have
Right.
done it. Yeah.
Right. So every soul has a tell. And when I say a tell, it's like the one thing that they react with in a moment wherein they're resonating with something. Okay, so you say it's strictly comedy, you want to be funny and you want attention. And all of those things can be true, but there's something about the situation that you put yourself in
Mm-hmm.
to be to get attention
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
in that
Yeah.
moment.
There's definitely more to it.
Yeah. And so when you're in that moment, you are aware because you've related it to me several times. I knew
Yeah.
I shouldn't have,
Yeah, you get
but
that
I
feeling.
did.
Yep. Yep. And you're
So
like,
when you're in your pause, then that's where your ego is saying, let's do it. This is going to be so much fun. It's going to be
mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
funny. Let's do it
Mm-hmm.
with zero regard of how it's going to land.
Exactly.
And your soul is over here going, don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
You can have
Think
your
of the
little
other person.
interior laugh if you want.
Mm-hmm. It's not about
Don't
you,
cause
Jared.
harm. Yeah, it's not
Yep.
about you, Jared. It's
Yep.
not about you.
It's not about you. Yes. And in fact, you're gonna look way worse if you open this up. Yeah.
Yeah, so you could probably think back to many times where relationships, whether they're friendly or romantic or family, kind of took a dive based
Mm-hmm.
on things that you did that you thought were funny. They didn't think it was funny.
There's that among other things, but
Yeah.
yes, there was definitely a lot of it's more of small talk stuff and more of like small
Right.
interactions, but if in the relationship for sure, those add up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
So I just want you to, and I don't know if you tried this or not, or if this is even something that you want to try, but you can journal. You can just auto write. This is not composing a paper. This isn't like thinking of any of that. You just basically are going to have an issue that you want to process.
Mm-hmm.
And you can even do it on like a voice text or something like a voice memo. You can do it on your computer, like on Zoom for
Mm-hmm.
yourself,
Yeah,
whatever
I
you
use
want to do.
notes a lot on my phone.
Yeah, you can do it like that. But basically, what you want to do is you want to just bypass the brain. You want to bypass the ego and just let it flow. So, auto writers, I did that when I first started channeling, and I'm not composing anything. Like the energy is just flowing, and I'm just writing like pages
Sure.
and pages.
Dave talks about this all the time. He's like, everyone should journal every night.
Yeah, and
They'll have a
yeah,
bestseller at the end of their life.
yeah.
Yeah.
More comes out that way once you get into the flow of it. And if you're not really, okay, so all of our clear abilities really activate through voice. Whether, no matter what your clear ability is, when I speak about something, I get the drop ins more readily
Yeah.
because the energy is moving. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the
Yeah.
same premise. So I recommend doing that just on whatever you're LFGing, like whatever it is you're working through, just as a trial run, just to see how it feels in your body. Because
Okay.
that does tend to allow energy to pass through in the form of feelings, reactions, kind of where you saw yourself at a certain point and then where you are now. And it kind of reconciles things a little cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
And when you speak it, it's gone. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
done. It leaves your body.
Okay.
It's a very efficient way to add into, to tag along, I guess is the best way to say it, of that LFG.
Okay.
But
That
many
makes sense.
people, yeah,
Because
many
when
people get a lot from journaling it because they can kind of go back and next time it comes up, they see, oh
yeah.
yeah, I didn't even touch on that when I thought I was completely done and but now it's rising. And then they see I'm not LFG in the exact same thing. It might be the same event. This is a different aspect. This was
Mm-hmm.
another thing that wounded me or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because you forget. You forget if you don't document it in one, whether recording or writing
Yeah,
it down. And in the other way, like I found that in my mind, because I'm always talking to myself all through the day. And so like that's when all my like it's the clearest, the clairvoyant, right? Or the clearest and the clearest. And everything is so on point and makes sense. I need to convert it into something, so I'll put it into words on the
right,
notes or write it down.
right.
And that's the good stuff. Like I like to put the good stuff there. But you're saying like with that with getting rid of the trauma and the other stuff, yeah, voice is a lot better for that, and especially because you can hear how you sound too when you do it, when you speak it. I wish, like my mother, for example, if she just watched herself for one day, she would probably make so many changes in her life because she just doesn't, she's never heard, it's just, she doesn't see how she's acting and the tones and what she's saying and all this stuff and how she's coming off. And I mean, just being on radio has helped me so much. And I'm sure like you relate, like, right
Yeah.
when we watch our own stuff, we're like, oh, I'm going to
Right.
tune this up a little bit or whatever. And like
Yeah.
polish my act a little bit. And yeah, it's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah, if you want to help your mom and you think she'd be receptive to it, that
She is
you
so
just
not receptive to
you
anything. She
just be
knows
her
everything,
mirror.
Eva, and you cannot tell her a
No, I
damn
don't,
thing.
not for
She will
me,
have
for
every
you.
excuse in the book. I know. I've
Not for
tried.
me, for
Oh, Lord, I've
you.
tried. Lord, I've tried.
If you're her mirror,
Uh
right?
huh.
So you're saying if she'd see herself.
She does respect
So,
me a lot, so
yeah. So
maybe I
if
have
you
some
if
pull.
you're her mirror and you treat her like she treats you,
Uh huh. I don't know if I could do that.
you can say, look, before I do this, just know I love you. And then be like, no, 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 whatever, and step back. No.
She's just the traditional Christian that which I claim I have nothing wrong with Christians. That's my go-to, but she is that Christian judgmental say as I do as I say, not as
Yeah,
I do.
yeah. And that
And
to me,
she
like,
will
I mean,
tell you you're an alcoholic while she is hammered off wine. But she is not. This is just I'm getting rid of some stuff or whatever. Don't I
this
am
is
not in
not
the
the
wrong
same
at
thing. This
all.
is
It's
not
not the
the
same
same.
thing. It's you guys.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. If
It's
it were
crazy.
me, I would just, leave it alone.
Yeah,
Because
I
again, you
gotta
can't
love
change
her.
other
Yeah,
people. You can't control other people. You can't
no, you
save other
can't.
people.
And you started this whole conversation with that, and that's exactly what I thought of. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But you will respond to her differently. And it will land differently once
You
this
know,
is integrated. You'll
okay,
feel
yes,
less exposed, I think.
okay. You make a good point there because I've already, like you said, it's better how we respond, and I respond to her in the best way, in a very awake way where I don't fall into her traps or play along with her stuff. And I think that she picks up on some of that and it
Mm-hmm.
kind of exposes them, right? So she's like,
Right.
it's people don't play along with the same games. I'm not going to pretend to be something, mom. I'm not going to pretend anything.
Right.
I'm just going to tell you how it is. And I do see her kind of like, as much as she can, take in awareness of that. So
Yeah.
that's something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you take a small win over another loss, right? You just take a
Yeah.
small win and you
Yeah.
just keep moving
Yeah.
on with life.
And
Um,
she's got her little bubble, but I just wish that she could be happier. That's my biggest thing is I want, once we found happiness, we want other people to be happy, right? It bugs us when we see people in these situations.
and I
Like,
tell people
man,
all the time, although they are resistant, they want
yeah.
to save the world, right?
Uh,
Well, I want to save the world too, but
uh-huh.
I cannot save anyone
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
I can only shed light on things and encourage you to save yourself. But this is the kicker. That's not selfishness. That's I save myself and I start responding as Yeshua would. Okay, that is called Christ consciousness. That is actually the second coming is as we embody that way of living,
Mm-hmm.
it exudes from us and
Mm-hmm.
it's like a virus. It catches.
Yep.
So you actually help people more effectively by walking the talk, living that way,
Mm-hmm.
and living by that example.
I
And then
agree.
your frequency rises and people around you, their frequency was is it's a natural byproduct of your frequency being high. They either have to leave or rise
Yeah.
because it becomes uncomfortable.
Totally.
Yeah. So the
100%.
people
Yeah.
that can be with you find you or stay with you, and the ones that can't leave, and you let
Mm-hmm.
them.
Yep.
So that's how we actually do facilitate change. That's what we are actually able to do. And it all begins with us.
Yeah. Goes back to my favorite Q drop. Well, one of them, you can't tell the people, you got to show them.
That's right.
It's so true. It is so
That's
true.
right. That's
And
right.
lead by example.
And it's not, many times people say, well, I've told them 15 times and they just don't hear me. And I think we've talked about this before, but there's, it's called frequency mismatch. It's like you're in the FM channel and they're in the AM channel and they can't hear what you're saying. Like they see you, they see your mouth moving, but they don't receive the message. It's not because they aren't wanting to. They physically cannot hear the message because it's a frequency mismatch.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to just let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Let it go. Like stop trying, like stop beating the dead horse. The horse is dead. We
Mm-hmm.
don't need to whip it anymore.
Yeah.
Let it go. Um, but that's an ego thing. If you find anything in life where you're just not letting it go, and you want to be heard and you need to be right, you need to be able to say, "Ha, I told you so."
Yeah.
That is all ego.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is a you
I
problem, not a them problem.
it's so true. I had a friend, a very close friend, my buddy's wife, another buddy's wife, that has always been 100% behind me. She still is, don't get me wrong, but like there was this one instance where I was doing something that was involved with her other family and that she's not tight with and gets along with, but I'm a part of it and has nothing to do with them at all. And this is totally me doing something for me with this thing, and it's going to be a really good thing for me, and it's not hurting anybody. And anyways, I told her about it, and she was like, she showed up. She's like, "Oh, what's the problem now with that thing?" And I was like, "Nothing. It's running fucking tits, and everything's bitching, and we're gonna go do a photo shoot, and you won't believe it." And she was just like, "Oh," and I could just see her like, I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, and she was like, "Well, who, who told you you can go there and everything?" I was like, "Oh my god! Like, really?" I couldn't believe it. It was all because of her other stuff. She has nothing to do with any of this stuff at all. But I almost like I didn't say any names because I was afraid she was gonna torpedo this thing. I couldn't believe it. This woman has always been in behind my back, 100% like a sister, But because this one thing touched that nerve,
Yeah.
that she shouldn't be in their business anyways.
Right.
It was
Right.
like,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah. There's a
wow. It really bummed
culture.
me out.
Yeah. There's a culture of, when people get triggered, that it's everybody else's responsibility. Well, triggers are for them to deal with. So you
Yeah,
trigger somebody, you triggered her. When
yeah.
that is a pinpoint on the map of her soul because that's where the wound is that needs to be healed. And the only way for her to not be triggered is to heal the wound. So even if she's silenced everybody from saying anything that makes her feel that way, she still feels that way
Mm-hmm.
because she still hasn't healed the wound. So triggering,
Yeah,
I love to trigger people because I'm like, boom, there you
yeah,
go. That's where you
yeah,
start.
yeah, yeah. Right,
That's where
right.
you start. We don't have
Yeah.
to wonder where to begin. That's where you begin.
So good.
You're welcome.
My Venmo is
Yeah. Outlands on the house.
oh man. Yeah, and I'm trying to figure this one out. I mean, because it's like it's so con it's so complex and like the web they weave with this stuff. Like she should have
Well,
nothing to do with this.
yeah,
That's
you have to just enforce the healthy
how did you
boundary
get to
there.
me with that? Like, holy shit. You're really reaching. And it's people that they're always in other people's business is what it is.
Yeah.
They
Well, the fact
are.
that you're letting her means that she thinks that she has a say.
I should have said nothing. Yeah.
And
But
you
I
have
was
to,
just
and
so proud because they were always because it was like, you know, the brother-in-law, because she's married to the other brother. So like, and they have a thing that this brother and his wife has something with this brother and his wife, and I got something with this one, and it's for me like, and we did this thing, we built this amazing thing, and everyone said we couldn't do it, and it was going to turn to shit, and yeah, I can, and it's like now it's fucking amazing, and they hate it, they hate to see it, and I can't believe it. I'm just like,
So
you guys are fucking shitbags.
that is a them problem, not a you
Yeah,
problem,
it
unless you
is.
make it your problem.
Yeah,
So you have
no.
to just do the LFG on that
Okay.
and then
Yeah,
enforce
yeah,
the boundary. Like, this isn't
yeah.
any of yours. I love you. I'll talk to you
Oh,
later. Bye
totally.
bye.
And after she left, I was like, fuck, I'm never mentioning this thing again to her. Like, I can't believe it. I was just excited, It's like
You could
a
probably
little bit
follow
of it
that.
was like, yeah, fuck you guys. But at the same time, I wasn't saying fuck you guys. I was just like, yeah, we did it, you know? And
Yeah,
just to
either
see
you
her face
support me
change,
in everything I do or you don't support me in everything I
right,
do.
right. Yep. Yep. But I did
So,
I did see that
yeah.
boundary right after she left. I was like, damn it, But like I said, it bummed me out because I was like, I wish I could say that and have her be proud, but apparently she's not about everything I do. So
Maybe
that
one
sucks.
day, if she chooses to heal the wound, then she can find her way back to that.
Yeah.
But pride is not really anything that, you know,
Yeah.
it's kind of low vibrational ego feeding.
It
I'm
is.
so
That's that.
proud of you. You
Yeah.
know, you have to just be proud of what you accomplished on its own, whether
Right.
it impresses anybody or not. And
Yeah.
then you're so fulfilled, then whatever you get outside of you, it either adds to it or it falls away because you're full.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's the
Yeah.
self love part of it, where you're
Yep.
not doing things for accolades. You're doing things because it's what you wanted to do and what fulfilled your purpose in that moment. And it was a success. It is a success. And you celebrate that.
Yeah.
And you don't let anybody take away from that because her opinion, did it change the project?
Yeah. No.
No. Did it change the outcome of the project?
No.
No. There's nothing to do with it. You
Yep.
just separate that out and you go, look at what I did.
Yeah.
This is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And you just stay there. That's how a good example of staying in the now
Yeah.
and tune out the noise.
Yeah. Love it.
Those that are really championing your success they'll rise up. You'll see them. You'll
Mm-hmm.
be like, man, you're doing such good stuff,
Yeah. And I see
and
him.
they're
I
gonna
do.
feel it.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
do see them. It's very
yeah,
clear as day.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's how we shift the perspective from that one negative Nancy, you know, out
Yeah.
being louder than all the people that are proud of you. You
Yeah.
just turn their volume down. Beep,
Yeah.
mute.
It was just like up until this point, up until it involved someone she had a problem with, she was always behind me for years, like if not decades now. And
Well,
that's
she
what
didn't
it
have an
really it bummed
invested
me out. That I
interest.
was like, damn, you weren't the person I thought you were.
She didn't have an invested interest in you doing
Yeah.
all those other
Everything
things.
else. She could
Hmm.
just latch on to me and say, yeah, look at Uncle and he's killing it and it's awesome. And yep, exactly. Yep.
So that's just the boundary thing, and boundaries are for you to enforce. Other people don't have to honor them, but you still enforce them
Yeah. Yeah.
because
100%.
we
And I
don't
did.
control
I
other people.
I felt very aware as soon as she said it. Like I said, I could have said names and everything and of where we were going because she's involved with the association we're going to do the photo shoot at. And I shut up. I was like, yeah, my buddy, somebody, and I could have gave her names. And then who knows if she'd be in there talking to them. Oh, you better watch out. There's nails and everything. She had every excuse in the book why I shouldn't take this thing to the arena to do this photo shoot. I couldn't believe it. I was just, are you kidding me? Like, this is going to be so cool. And you're
Yeah.
just so terrible
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah. So
Amazing.
forgive yourself. So I'll dissect this one a little bit for you.
Yeah. Okay.
You have given her opinion of what you do and how you do it a lot of weight over the years. So you're going to forgive yourself for giving her that amount of influence and you're going to take that back. because
Okay.
you should be having the influence on you that way, not
Mm-hmm.
anybody else. You
Mm-hmm.
forgive yourself, you forgive her. And then you love yourself for
Okay.
everything that you did, and you
I
love
like it. Yeah.
her for all that she's brought within
Yes.
bounds.
Yes.
And then you give gratitude that you saw it, that you see it differently now, and you have a way to reconcile it without having resentment or another wound or anything like that. And you
Yes.
can still be around them within those boundaries where you realize that her opinion of what you do and what you accomplish should never be more important than your opinion of what you do and what you accomplish. And that's self love. That's not selfishness. That's self love, self compassion, self
Mm-hmm.
kindness, which we are really bad about doing for ourselves.
Yeah, because we just went over all this in the inner child stuff, and look how quickly like I got into it again, and like I could apply that right to that too. Yeah, so good. It's so, and when you say it, it sounds so simple, but you don't realize how much you just forget it so quick, and you need to be
Well,
reminded.
it's a habit. I
A
mean,
habit. It is. Yep.
habits are born over years. This isn't something you just started doing. You've been doing
Yep.
this your whole life.
Yeah.
So it's going to take practice
Yep.
to unlearn the ways you were doing it, which were unhealthy, and
Hmm.
learn the ways that you can put in practice, embody the ways to efficiently deal with it so that you're not stacking up more wounds, you're not stacking up more resentment, you're not stacking up more negative energy.
We need to get these new practices in habit, so it becomes habit
Yes.
every time you face it.
Right. So every time you
Yeah.
catch yourself doing one that's an old way, then you replace it with the new way.
Yeah.
Then it's an even swap. And you're going to
Yeah.
keep doing that over time until you've cleared it out
Yeah.
to the best of your ability. Again, nobody's perfect. We're not trying to be perfect. We're just trying to live life a little better, a little bit more spiritually mature
Yeah.
today so that in 10 years we don't have another stack of things that we have to deal with that is
Yes,
holding
because it will
us back.
compound. Yeah. Imagine if you don't start to try and catch up with it. I mean, I had a guy tell me today he was just so glad that he finally went to the dentist and got his teeth like started to get worked on because they were like getting really bad infections and all this stuff. And, he's about 40 and he's just starting to awaken, I could tell, and he's like, oh man, like I need to start taking care of myself. I'm like, yeah. And it's like, wait till you get to the spiritual stuff.
One thing at a time.
One thing at a time. Yeah. But yeah, this stuff really does compound just like that stuff does, just like you
I'm
feel like your teeth
motivated
go.
too because the more we can connect to people, at this point, and then they have children or they're around other children, then they can advocate for those children to be met where they are instead of trying to shove them into a pre-printed box that the Matrix wants them to fit into.
Yeah.
And it prevents this type of stuff from ever happening.
Yes. 100%.
I
That
I want to be out of commission.
Yes. Yeah, you want to be able to just not be
I
needed.
want to retire myself
Yeah.
because everyone's
Yeah.
so efficient at LFGs.
Yes.
And we're not creating more wounds with the little ones coming behind us because
Yes.
they're coming in really
So
enlightened.
true.
They're already at where we're trying to return. Like they're arriving that way.
Yeah.
And so the
I
very
know.
the very worst thing we could do is
Excuse
to
me.
try to import our fucked up childhood on them
I know.
because that's not what they deserve. We didn't deserve it. They certainly don't
Ah,
deserve it. But in
ah,
order for us to do better, we have to learn a different way because otherwise we're
yep,
going to do how we know how to do. That's it.
yeah, so true. And that's what's really wanted me to have kids now at this age is because I feel like I'm like, oh my God, I think I can. I think I can do this. I've always
You
been,
always could.
yeah, I was could, but like I think I could actually make a good human out of it. A productive human being, teach them good stuff or her.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, but that's exactly what you're saying. Is like I relate to that so much. This is kind of that's been my big push is carrying on the next generation. Even if I don't, for some reason, I would love to just influence or adopt or whatever. Like somehow, some way, help these new ones coming in. Because you said
Well,
it
why
best.
can't you
They're
do
coming in so pure, and they need not get fucked up.
you
Such a
could
tragedy.
always volunteer to be a big brother.
Yeah, I know. I need to get some of these projects done because um
Yeah,
that's
because
I
you
would
don't
love
have
to
any
have.
time to do
Yeah,
things to feed your
but
soul.
yes, but I would really love to do that. I'd love to get in work with kids.
Yeah,
100%.
I think so. I think, well, and you'll end up wherever you're meant to end up, honestly.
Hmm.
I think that that's pulling on your heart. The child strings are pulling on your
Yep.
heart. Number one,
Yeah.
to heal. And number two, like you said, to be like your best self for whatever presents itself for you
Yeah.
from the child aspect, whether it's volunteering or your own children or your or little ones that are around you. Because,
Hmm.
it's funny, the hundreds of people that I've worked with, so many people will have a wounding. It's not even a family member. Like, yeah, there was this barbecue and my dad's friend came and it was just this obnoxious thing that happened and I never forgot it.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the obnoxious friend probably forgot right after it happened.
Hmm.
But that's what people like, that's the paradox of it. They don't realize how that kind of stuff sticks to a child's energy. Like it stays with
Hmm.
them.
Hmm.
And it can literally be the thing that they always remember when they think about why they can't do stuff or why they're hurting or why they're not in in a loving relationship or whatever. They'll go back to these traumas that on the surface seem insignificant, but it
Hmm.
hurt their feelings to the point that it changed the trajectory of their life. And
Hmm.
so my hope is that we can stop creating wounds in children that have to be healed decades later.
Hmm. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a gnarly world out there.
It is a world full of all sorts of possibilities. And I think the best way to navigate it is to just be prepared. Prepared to choose and prepared to enforce boundaries and prepared to stay sovereign. So preparing can look different to different people. Do I have guns that have ammo? Yes, I'm that kind of prepared too. But I'm also prepared just in my energy to try to
Hmm.
not get there,
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Anything else you want to say before we close it out?
Uh, no, I think it's a good spot to close it out. I mean, I could go all night, but I think this is a good spot. I just want to thank you, Eva. I appreciate your time so much.
You're welcome.
It's been a huge help so far. I look forward to the next session.
Yeah, well, again, we'll let your body kind of be the determining factor. We'll
Okay.
try to get something for about a week out because I think this will probably integrate in your body for 4 or 5 days and detoxing and things. And then I want you to kind of get back to that moment of clarity and before we get into life path and soul decode or whatever.
Okay.
And that'll be a longer one. So maybe we'll do that on a weekend or
Okay.
I don't
Looking
know.
forward to it. I'm excited.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll talk to you later.
You're the best. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye bye.